does the general manager do on a day like today? Like for regular fans, we have no idea. Like, what are you doing today?
Yeah, so September, we're about 2 weeks away from training camp. We have a lot of our guys in town, which is great. Like, they're volunteering on their own coming in. So you get to watch a little bit of that. Fortunately, it's HBCU week that we're putting on for Monumental, so I get to go to Howard and speak to them and join a panel there. And then we're trying to finish up hiring some staffing. We have some family services people coming into town that we're interviewing. So a lot of stuff on the day-to-day, trying to make sure we're ready to go once training camp starts.
How often or how long are the guys working out before? Because camp starts October 1, so you got a couple more weeks. How long do they work out now?
So obviously the summertime, they kind of control their own agenda and kind of what they do. We've been really fortunate. Half the team's been here since August.
Right.
And after Labor Day, we've had like 90-95% of the guys in here. So they come in, do their own thing. If they want to play pickup on some days, they play. They organize it. But they're on the court 45 minutes to an hour just working on their individual game and also getting in the
drills
weight room.
And stuff.
Yeah. You don't want to burn out too early, but they want to be in town and get used to the gym, and the camaraderie piece is more important than anything.
If Cakes was a GM, he wouldn't let them do other activities. He's always talked about
what
this.
type of activity?
I mean, I think
he
Will
doesn't like
Dawkins he's going to be Team Cakes here.
Like jet skiing and
jet
all that?
skiing.
Yeah,
how about downhill skiing?
No.
You want Alex Sarr on skis going down
17 years from now?
Killington, Vermont? I don't think so.
Sarr could do that.
How about surfing?
Believe it or not, a lot of that stuff's in their contract.
Thank you.
Really?
Yes, thank you.
There's a lot of exclusions on that type
Will,
of stuff.
come on. We're smart. Come on.
For sure.
This guy.
You got to protect them.
Protect
them from
you know
themselves.
What it is, in other sports, he doesn't like guys even playing pickup basketball.
Football
like a football player.
Yeah,
because you can snap your ankle like that playing pickup hoops.
But those football athletes are different.
They're amazing.
They're built different. And their off seasons are so long. They got to fill it with something.
That's true.
So how excited can I be? I just temper my expectations. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't like rebuild. I kind of like going to the playoffs. But everyone said we got to rebuild. All right, so we're going to rebuild.
Yep.
What can we – I think your draft, by the way, was fantastic.
I appreciate you
I
saying
had no
that.
idea. But then I watched the summer. I was like, whoa, this Bub kid
You love Bob Carrington.
Dude, he's the real
Dude,
deal.
He
he's
looks
tough.
legit.
Yeah. And then the George guy is like, oh, he can play.
Sarr did miss a lot of shots, to be honest.
But he's the guy.
Talk about that too.
But he's the guy that you're least worried about. It's like the bottom of the draft. I was like, whoa. Yeah. That was a really good draft.
I appreciate that.
You know, they haven't done anything yet in the real games, but that was my blink.
I appreciate that.
So, but what can we expect? Because I'm ready to go win 50. Yeah. But what's realistic?
It's going to take a while.
All right. What's realistic? Set the expectations.
I think first, thank you for saying that. What we wanted to do this summer was make a lot of cultural deposits into the organization, and I think we did that starting with the hiring of Brian Keefe and him meticulously taking time and building his staff. Once you learn those guys, all those guys have been lead player development guys at other places, and now they're kind of assistant coaching. So we're building a culture of development, and with that, last year was year one of the rebuild. As you know, you got to pull it down, build the foundational habits, and then build it back up. And I think we're still in the foundational building part.
So what's that mean?
Did your guys hit their 3 goals? I remember you said before the season last year that you gave each player 3 individual goals. How did they fare on those?
I would
say, I'm sure they changed throughout the season.
So some of the guys hit it midway through the season. You have to evolve the goal. Sometimes we set it too high and we got to pull it back a little bit. So that's the part of measuring quarterly.
What about the defensive goals? They were hitting
No, as a team, we didn't hit many of those. So that's what I was going to say. Like individually, a lot of them checked the boxes, but our team goals we didn't, and that's what we spent a lot of the summer on, just being a little bit more competitive, defensive rebounding, things like that.
So let's go through some of the players. EB was highlighting them kind of in general, but you draft Alex Sarr, number 2. We got to see him in the summer league, and I was joking, he missed a lot of shots. The one thing I will say is he gets to his spots. Like he looks comfortable getting to his spots.
And the stroke looks fine. It'll be fine.
He's 7'1". He's a defensive player first. I think we saw that. Would he like to have some of those games back in summer league? Yeah. It was 5 months since he played 5-on-5 last in February, so we're not going to be too wrapped up into 4 games in summer league, especially when you saw and you actually break down the tape, the good things he did, how he got to his spots, how he moved the ball.
I thought they were good looks.
Yeah. We're not too worried about that. The offense is going to come. I'm excited for what he's going to be 3-4 years down the line. We're not too worried about those 3.
Even though he's only 19, he's been playing professional ball since like 15 or earlier. Like you probably didn't have to worry about him being a pro. Like he's been doing it already.
The professional habits that he has, we're going to improve upon those. But someone that wants to take the chance to leave home at 14, play in Spain, then try something different in America, playing for OTE, then go all the way to Australia. He's got to have a lot of different experiences and a lot of confidence that
What are the professional habits that you're talking about?
He just knows how to prepare for his body. He knows what goes into winning. Like, he's a vocal defensive player. It's hard to see 18, 19-year-olds talking and
how
having
much
an
are you
impact
into the
on
guy's
that.
nutrition? Like, we always hear these stories about some of these guys who have just terrible diets, right? And at 19, 20, you can get away with it.
Wasn't it years ago when Embiid, like, people went in and saw his refrigerator, they're like, oh, you're eating just garbage.
Yeah.
Then they bought him all the fresh vegetables, loaded up his fridge, and then 2 weeks later, everything was rotten. He hadn't eaten any of it.
True story. I had 2 Twinkies this morning.
Very good.
And a breakfast burrito.
Bodies in the temple.
I'm not kidding. I had 2 Twinkies.
But you don't have to go out there and play like they do.
I'm good.
No.
I'm good.
Sue Sanders does a really good job. She's our team nutritionist of teaching them what's right from day one. Obviously, you take their blood testing and make sure they're getting the right things that they need. But these guys are pros. They come in, they're getting meals delivered to their houses and prepared so that their body's ready to go. When we first came into the league 16, 17 years ago, we were happy to get like Chipotle and McDonald's.
Right.
And now these guys are eating 3 times a day, professional chefs.
It's
pretty impressive.
How good can Sarr be this year in your eyes?
I wouldn't put limitations on him, to be honest with you. I think he's someone that by the end of the season, you'll be like, okay, that was different.
Really?
He'll have his moments throughout the beginning of the year, both negative and positive, but the stuff he can do on the floor long term, I think you guys are going to be pretty excited.
What about Bilal? Bilal is my guy.
Yeah.
You may have discovered him a little bit before me, but he's my guy.
It was right around that same time.
There are 2 schools of thought here. There's one person sitting at this table who just wants Bilal to be like a 20-point scorer already. Wants him to be instant impact. There's another person, a more rational person, that knows that it's going to take some time to develop him. That it's going to take some more experience, more time in the NBA game. What do you think of year 1? What should people expect in year 2 and beyond?
Productive year 1. When he was coming in, the year before, he wasn't even playing in Pro A in France at the beginning of the season. He was playing in the 2nd division, and then by the end was playing starter minutes in the playoffs. And it was the same for us. We didn't know what we were to expect last year. By the end of the season, he was starting and getting more minutes. If he didn't have that wrist injury, I think those last 16 games would have been huge for him in terms of just making plays, seeing a little bit more on the offensive end. But he's had a great summer. Physically, when you guys see him, he's filled out. But the experience he had playing for France, winning a silver medal, going over there and really competing, getting those opportunities.
France.
No, he played in that final.
Thank you.
He played in that final. I went over there. I went over there and saw him play in some of those games and not play. But when they had to play against the NBA and the USA team, they put him out there and he defended. He was playing deep into the 4th quarter. So that experience, and then when you see his face come back, it's important.
It's just that my theory, is that the rookies that become stars in the league, and you can be a good quality player, that they generally will have more offensive flashes early on, and we didn't see much of that. Maybe one game where he got to like 20 points. So I don't know what type of offensive player he'll be down the road.
Yeah, I think he's still figuring that out too. He's young. He's 19. But the progress for him, we knew he was going to be a defensive player first. But you'll see him with the ball a little bit more, getting downhill. And physically, once his shoulders grow into that contact, I think he'll be able to kind of add more to the scoreboard too.
So we can't bank on wins. This is what am I looking at? So am I trying to say how many guys do we have that are going to be a part of this in 3 years? Like what are the metrics that fans can be looking for?
Yeah, I think the measurables are a lot of individual right now in terms of team metrics. Things we're looking for, just being more competitive, being in more games, having a joy of camaraderie. We're trying to establish a style of play that will last. Not just right now, but kind of where we want to go. So hopefully we try new things, try to be innovative, and come up with new ideas that we can use moving forward. But we still got a lot of time to continue to add to the team, and we'll add through the draft and free agency and trade moving forward. Try to be opportunistic.
It's all about a plan.
A plan.
The process.
It's a process. It's a plan.
You gotta let it play out.
Now, look, 3 out of the 4 pro teams are going through that plan here.
That is true. It's a good point.
So we're kind of getting used to it.
Well, Will, thanks for the time, man. We know you're busy.
Yeah,
October
awesome.
1, camp starts, and then the season starts shortly thereafter. And I'm sure we'll talk to you throughout the season.
Are you guys going to come back to training camp?
Would love to.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Love to do it.
Yeah, I want to come sit on the wood. So I need to talk to Will. I just need to go to a game and be on the wood.
Yeah.
Want to talk to JV.
You need that experience.
JVS.
You started with Zach in the morning. That's who you should have started with. Zach was first.
Yeah.
You missed your opportunity
Go to the head
on
of the
that.
snake, right?
Go right to the top.